Why is this always desynced now? This is the third time I've had to do that. Hello, horror. Aren't you still live? Just ended. Okay. If you're available to do anything, let me know. My plan, because I didn't find anybody else for content warning, is that we can think about how we can start doing things like opening up live viewer callers. My expectation is that it might go fucking horribly, but won't know until you try. I don't expect there to be many at first for the few of these. I'm going to experiment with the idea of taking live callers on air and discussing topics that they bring to me. Meanwhile, I still have yet to learn this game. There are so many moving parts. Some people have moved to Osulo. And send the population of Osulo to... Hello.
Hello.
How was your event?
Good. A lot better than last week, for damn sure. Actually, an analog horror that was fun to watch.
I'm happy.
You and me both, because last week was fucking ass. And people didn't like that I thought it was ass. Which is hilarious.
People just can't be choosers, I guess. I'm disappointed that Baddington turned out to be what he was.
But who?
Baddington.
I don't know what you're referencing.
The guy that made the puppet horror that was based about that guy that made that famous clip of no, the other one. It's the one where it is about a guy that tries to make a like Chuck E. Cheese knockoff playground, but it's actually a guy that's been hunting people and made a deal with the devil.
I don't think I've heard of that one, so that one's new to me.
Harmony and Horror?
Yeah, I haven't heard of that one, so that's different. That'll be different. That's different for me.
Oh, okay.
That's a new. I haven't heard of that. So what happened with this guy? Is it like a Tribe 12 situation?
Pretty much.
Ooh, they all turn out to be pedos.
like his Harmony and Horror series was getting a lot of energy that was coming up behind it, but since then he's just been trying to remaster season 1 and not much else has come out about it, which is just disappointing for me. Besides that, I usually end up seeing things like Shin Sonic and other types of like Sonic.exe horror knockoffs that may or may not be fun to watch.
Yeah, I've got like an entire backlog of shit that I still need to cover. Because I've just become obsessed with analog horror.
I see. Let's see here, what did I have on my docket? I found my list that I made for myself this week. I had the week blocked out for editing, which I more or less got done. Then put out content nuke clip. Then today I set aside time for either content warning or plotting out and mapping out how we're going to increase the numbers for the Twitch so that I can then be capable of doing dare drops to make a stockpile of keys to then give away to the audience. And on that idea was this concept of taking open callers. But in general, you can just be able to sit down and talk about anything with anything. Which to which, Ed, tell me about the horror series that you've been watching.
What I watched today was the Oakburn Opus or VHS tapes series by Red Diamond. Very cool, very well. The cinematics are peak. It's just so cool. It's that the way that they have things set up with music, with visuals, with the story itself. That is 100% one of the best ones that I've come across. And I came across it because of Nexpo.
That makes sense.
So that was a lot of fun. I'm really excited for the part 3 to come out, hopefully soon. But a couple weeks I'll be doing White Door Opened is one of the series that I've got on the docket.
Okay.
Especially because after this next video that I've been working on for the last, I don't know, fucking month is done, I'm probably just going to be doing streaming for a little while. Not going to be doing any edited content.
What are you going to stream?
I do gaming streams Thursdays and Tuesday and Thursday nights. My horror game streaming, and then on Sundays is the Halls of Horror.
Okay.
So it's 3 streams a week doing that stuff. Because I know once I start going back to work, if I'm not working from home anymore, I won't have it anywhere near the amount of time that I had when I started my channel and up till now to, you know, make edited content that's at least halfway decent. I just won't have the bandwidth. So, streams it is for a hot minute.
Okay.
For the foreseeable future.
Did you ever finish with Darkwood?
No.
Still wasn't your bag?
I liked it better the second time around that I tried it, but it was just taking so long to go do it on streams because I'm only streaming for like an hour, 2 hours a night. I kind of moved on to something else to play. I started recording the rest of it. I'm like at the very tail end of the game. I just haven't sat down to finish it.
See, I need to revisit the game myself because I need to just sit down and finish playing it, because I did something similar where I would sit down to play it, but I would never be in like the mood to do it, because every single time that it just so happened that I would get the mood to play it, someone would get me involved in some shit or something would happen that would then distract me away from it, which tends to be a case with a lot of my stuff. But in the case of Darkwood, it was a mixture of I don't normally like playing horror games, and then also when I discovered that it was the type of horror game that I could give it a chance, every single time I would want to play it, another game that I should probably put my interest on to pay attention to would come out and would just absorb that time away from me entirely.
Yeah.
It's an unfair circumstance of shit, because beside it, Darkest Dungeon, and Just Beasts and Shapes, those developers themselves are making some
Free
interesting shit.
Yeah.
There happens to be a creator that besides that one game that I know that I mentioned on live stream, which was Don't Look Outside. There's another one that is being made that I forgot the name of the person, but it's called Mindwave, and it's effectively WarioWare, but it's done inside the mind of the person that you're facing. It's narrative based, but it's literally WarioWare in somebody else's head as a narrative driven story where the micro games tell you the backstory of that person from the viewpoint of an antisocial individual playing through what is being set up as like a game show environment, where in order for them to continue forward, they're playing this game and they are thus eliminating people that they have never met or have only spoken to between the different floors that the competition takes a part of. There's demos that are out. So there's the tutorial mini games based on the player character's inner story, and then one of the ones which is set up on the Genki girl that she competes against on the first floor. And the entire idea of is that when you go up these elevators that the games open up with, that are the background, that once you complete the stage and you move on to the story, I'm pretty sure the narrative point is that they're literally plummeting to their death because the floor falls out. Fine wave. So I can get you this demo trailer. Yeah, I can send you this. Because for most people, they're both waiting for the game to come out because it looks like it's going to be their new obsession. But for a lot of them, their expectation for the game has been the music. The music has been probably the biggest draw point, with the most popularly viral game, or rather the most viral sound being the song from Starlight's level. The aesthetics of it is pretty much the biggest selling point. The animations are fluid. The character design is nice. There's no wasted space. Everything's efficient. Everything's effective. Reading Pip's comment. Hopefully once Hassan gets taken down, that starts a domino effect for the rest of BreadTuber. Hassan is less of a BreadTuber and he's more of just a regular anti-Semitic streamer. So
he's a propagandist.
Yeah, he's a propagandist in that way. You're not going to take down BreadTube by getting rid of Hassan. And that's really not the point and focus of this. I was actually able to talk to the Gator Gamer briefly when he was live streaming last night, and I explored this topic with him similarly. And basically, the point of the nuke is not to finally get people to realize that Hassan is a bigot, because everyone should have already realized that he is. Twitter and Twitch are containment sites, just like YouTube can technically be considered a containment site, as is TikTok and every other microblogging website. The goal, Pip, is not to create a domino effect that takes down BreadTube. No. What you want is to have drastic policy change at Twitch.
Yep.
Starting with getting everybody on the same page on why people would be concerned with what Hassan is doing. Whether or not you go through the vector of getting him sued or getting him tried or having him deplatformed, that's the wrong question to ask. The question you need to ask is how many people who are fans of Hassan actually have watched his video. You probably have seen this if you've looked inside of Printing Press, but you notice that I've opened up a thread about the post-nukes clippings of all of the members of his anti-Semi squad and his reactions, as well as the podcast thread on Nick Duro's take about all this. It has literally been nothing but gold. The clip reactions of them literally getting clip-chimped as they start making predictions to try and put all of this on Sneeko has been hilarious.
Yeah, I've been putting it in podcast ideas as I see them.
Okay. Yeah, but I've been paying attention to it, and I explicitly wanted to go find Nick Diorio's opinion on it, because he and everybody else who's making sure that the Cole posters do not win have been making a point of being annoying as fuck about this, which they should. It is also something that I noticed because when I started looking at the Internet Versus, who's seemingly taking up the Brillback's capital and is reading the tweets now, all of our Twitter feeds are showing up, at the minimum, at least, at the Ebony Mall, which I guess has the more viral of our accounts. They're getting seen and noticed about it, and it's moving the needle on the discussion, which is the actual goal. By all means, you can have your goal be, I want to see Hassan Piker not earn money, but your actual goal should be, I want Twitch to be cleaned out. Because
they need to stop.
Because the problem with Twitch is that this is a company that is not publicly traded. Therefore, we can go through the layers and the loops. Let's start at level 1. Why isn't... Oh my god, I can't believe that anti-Semitism exists on Twitch.tv. Why don't more people know about this? Because they're not publicly traded. Why would that matter? Shouldn't you want to deplatform this simply because it's hate speech? Well, you see, since it's a private platform, they don't have the same responsibility that most companies that are publicly traded would, which is fiduciary responsibility. We have a fiduciary responsibility in order to do the best thing that maximizes our income and our output. Sidebar. What is the most important thing that came about the death of Forspoken, Kill the Justice League, what will be coming of the death of, hopefully, Assassin's Creed Shadows, as well as the failures for launch of things like Dustborn? The companies are publicly traded. They need to make a return on investment. What just happened with the EA work that they did about Veilguard? All the writers were shuttered and fired, but they had already worked on other games, like Ghost of Yotai. Why is that important? Because getting the writers out of the company, after they have failed to return a profit on something that they have actively changed, to prognosticate that they were representing a minority base, instead of just simply making what customers wanted, makes them a failure in the eyes of business. So, why would I care? Because if the stocks aren't directly affected, they have no reason to remove the contingency of their work plan. That director of Global Initiative that is inside of Twitch has already privated and blocked her account on Twitter from any person who may or interact with her because of it. Now, by no means is she going to just simply catch flack. It is her responsibility and her right to be able to control the interests that she has. But it's very interesting, expected, but interesting, the member of Trust and Safety is not forward-facing because they are a cabal. Technically, the rights of how they're meant to work is that you're not supposed to know who's a part of Trust and Safety, so you cannot harass them about, you need to unban my account, you need to unban my account. It's like knowing who's a member of Team YouTube, but needing to DM or even at Team YouTube directly on Twitter, because if you don't have an agent or a manager assigned directly to work with you on your account and any issues with your account, you're not getting a fucking reply back from a human being. Not in any timely manner. I've been seeing people getting accounts that have been getting banned from YouTube despite the fact that they have no content on the account for them to be flagged for. So it's clear that somebody with an agenda is just simply banning people because they are reading and taking an interest and leaving comments on content that they do not like. Which then leads to the third order magnitude. Okay, so I can't be able to get Twitch to change their attitude, and the inside of Twitch is corrupt, and even the CEO actively platforms and protects what is effectively his favorite Golden Boy streamer. Well, what do we do to really solve that? Well, the only thing you can really do at that point, which is the final solution, is to hit the pocketbook. But not just the pocketbook of the website and the pocketbook of the streamer, but the pocketbook of every single person that is actively giving breath of air to it. Because it's more than about Twitch. It's about the fact that, just like Destiny, Hassan wants to be a political commentator that has access to the mainstream news media. An anti-Semite on the level where he's being compared, and this is of course Ethan's opinion, but I agree with it, someone who's being anti-Semitic on the level of Nick Fuentes, on the level of Fresh and Fit, because it's not Coconuts, Walter's not doing it, it's just fucking Myron Gaines. And Sneeko, they should be removed from polite society. That's not me saying you need to call for censorship. That's me saying that nobody wants to associate with it. If at the same time that the public makes a move away from low-rate internet blood sports, Because back then, it was just words had over a call. But people want to act like the internet needs to have a mommy and daddy regulator. People move away from it because insults, antagonism, and setting up for physical confrontation, IRL, is not critique. And it's also not safe, and it's also not desired. There should be a 0% chance that words had on a live stream between another person should lead to constant antagonism and outset. And yet, how many times now removed into the pirate software content cycle are we still currently in? You've got people who are fully distracted by things that amount to effectively low-rate, extremely gay IBS instead of real IBS, like what we saw on Versus Stat looking at Pod Awful. The kind of things that you would expect from people like Mario Yiannopoulos doing untowards people that believe themselves to be the new Riche people that want to make everything they do fetch. This is no different. It's just a different fucking cycle, and it's a different circle and sphere of influence. Now, these influencers, the ones that are getting clipped, effectively trying to make excuses for themselves and blame the behavior of their audiences on another content creator entirely, that's hilarious. But it doesn't remove the fact that the only reason why this is currently even being disseminated to the public is because Twitch has slept on it for so long. Why should Twitch platform left-wing extremism and deplatform right-wing extremism and then never check for the extremes of that left-wing disinformation and misinformation engine? And why should they be rewarded with money for doing it? Between themselves and other content creators like Ludwig and Cutie Cinderella uplifting people like Frogan, that's an entirely different metric. Not trying to stop that. You want to make a streamer award for your personal butt buddies and you want to give yourselves free interest and free money to say that you're changing the industry despite the fact you are keeping it stagnant? Be my guest. But no, you shouldn't be given money for saying things that if you said them on a YouTube platform would immediately have you banned with no ability to reform and no ability to appeal. That's not acceptable. And you certainly shouldn't be making money off of it. Because literally last night while we were watching that, fucking iShowSpeed and Kaisenat showed up at the fucking Royal Rumble. Granted, iShowSpeed was actually involved in it, but again, it was fucking social media streamer clout, like you said. But, you know, hey, at least iShowSpeed did not flash his meat, then Heil Hitler, and then scream 15-7 expletives at the top of his lungs while saying that he loves Saddam Hussein, or some shit like that. He got fucking speared by a dude, and then fucking thrown out of an arena, and then bounced off the fucking announcer's desk. At some level, I can say, you know what, I think it's obnoxious. I think both him and Kai Cenat and the WL community that represents Twitch is annoying as fuck. But, you know, if they entertain people, who am I to stop people from eating their breads in circuses? That, but Hassan, and he's actively committing terrorism and being a assistant to, effectively, high treason? I don't know what to call that. Other than some bullshit. That's only being allowed by leftists inside the company because they've coined it based. It's based to antagonize people on the platform that is made possible by those that go to war to protect you from your own incompetency. So, getting people to see this with their own eyes and realize, oh shit, it's actually that bad. We have to break the seal. You have to break the seal on Twitch and break them out of containment. Once it's seen by more people, people will have to pick a side. Do you want to be for anti-Semitism, or do you not want to be for anti-Semitism? Because it's not mutually exclusive. You can have people who want to support Palestine, and you can have people who want to support the safety of both Palestinians and Israelis without giving breath to active terrorist organizations and saying they're freedom fighters. Alright? It's possible to do both, and not give money and air and bandwidth to terrorism. So on that edge, that's like the most important thing. Because it will naturally happen as the conversation disseminates. People are going to see what's going on. They're going to witness the event. They're going to start asking questions. And when they're getting pushed off by these people that don't want to answer questions because they do not want to talk about it, and they do not want to be seen, and they do not want it heard, they will start to ask themselves, why are these guys really scared of having this conversation? Why do they not like us being able to talk about this conversation? It seems like they have a vested interest in not discussing shit and then actively behaving as though it is impossible to consider why we would want these groups of people to think and to speak the way that they do. And the simple answer at the end of the day is they are terrified of people finding out, because the more people find out, the more they continue to fuck around. Hassan has been safe from being called out for the shit that he chooses to do. By all means, it is probably going to be the most egregious part of what makes him who he is. And the only way to really make that change at the end of the day is, of course, to put him to task. And get him and other people like him to just simply accept, hey, maybe we fucked up. Hey, maybe it is not our place that we should be manipulating and controlling these things the way that we have. Maybe it is in our best interest that maybe we don't have to make terrorism content constantly. Maybe it is possible that on top of not making constant terrorism content, that we make it clear that there's a line and we have clearly crossed it. When they can do that, then we'll have the bandwidth in which to allow him to get across what it is he wants to do, or what he wants to discuss about. But he hasn't even begun the methodology to begin that process, or the basis of that conversation. It is near impossible for him to. And once it becomes possible for him to, is he going to do it because clearly he's getting beat the fuck out? Or is it that he's going to do so because he understands he can't get away with it anymore? Because it appears to me that the only reason he changes his behavior is because he can't get away with it anymore. Which tends to be the straight through for any behavior had by such content creators on Twitch. Ironically enough, as it is, the metrics of what's currently keeping people distracted, which is the drama that happens on a daily basis, is the only reason why this has not broken out more wide than it already has. Either way, that's really the target goal. That's the only thing you can really focus on. Anything else would be a conversation that loops. If you wanted to base it down to a simple answer, it's like you need to have good outcomes, not bad outcomes. You need to have guys that are capable of staying on target and on brand, that are not actively making the outcomes of everyone's interests annoying to the point where we no longer want interest and inflict an interest on the shit we find ourselves concerned with. Because there are 50 billion other things that we should be concerned with and working on, other than the shit that we find ourselves stuck in permanently. And I'm not a fan of the shit we find ourselves permanently stuck in, to be serious and frank. Every time I look at it, I just keep getting hilarious. Oh god. Let's go over this, because I'm still fucking flabbergasted by this particular news. Fucking David Hogg is politically relevant, but he's relevant for reasons that are going to kill the Democratic Party, and I'm for it. I will never get over the fact that there were two students that came out of Stone Douglas massacre who represented the light and left of the debate. Both were accepted in Harvard. The right-winger had his funnest grades, scores, and credentials. The left-winger, Hogg, was the mushy mediocre pick. Obviously would have never gotten in, except he levered his politics into a Harvard admission. They destroyed the right-winger, fucking crushed him with a leak of private messages. He was 14-year-old, protecting, of course, the person who leaked it, and destroyed a teenager because they didn't like his politics. Meanwhile, Hogg bounced from failure to failure, is a visible sign of how the left-wing elevates idiots, lavishes them with money and opportunity, and caught up to them when they fail, and now he is the DNC vice chair. I hope he brings every ounce of his stupidity into the reorganization and grinds it into a fine paste. Maybe then he'll be eligible for a lifetime position as tenured faculty. True. Read, Representative Eric Swalwell of CA 14th District. I am proud to support David Hogg for DNC Vice Chair because he's proven himself as one of the most fearless and effective organizers for his generation. From taking on the gun lobby to mobilizing millions of young people nationwide, he knows how to build movements that win. And that's exactly the leadership and energy we need right now. A party that isn't afraid to go on offense, take the fight to Trump, and rebuild our power from the ground up. Let's elect David. An absolute fucking joke of an absolute person that should absolutely have never been elected to a position of anything close to political power. Somebody like that should have never been allowed near a political office. But you know, you just can't keep a good crisis actor down. You just cannot keep a good crisis actor down, man. A level far beyond, he's crying, he's hiring, and quick destroyeth the Constitution. Which one needs to be sterilized? It is this one. I also see that fucking Joe Cat has returned, or has attempted to return again. I'm kind of proud that VTubers slowly but surely breaking down the idle culture roots of VTubing, showing your face, being open about having a partner, keeping the parasocialness in check. I think it's healthier overall, said the man that chose to antagonize content creators and hoped that nobody would remember that he was a part of doing that. Probably one of the most spineless wimp shit that you could ever see and do. Truly, a man of the people. Quote, every point he made is fine except one. Call me old-fashioned if you want, I'm sure, but what exactly is the point of showing your face if you're committed to VTubing? It defeats the point, isn't it? It's one of the original and practical intents of VTubing instead of regular face-to-cam, flesh-tuber streaming. To each their own decision, but to paint this as an objectively good thing, I'm not buying it. That's symptoms of tourist behavior. Truthfully, and of course he had deleted the post. Truthfully, the general problem with Joe Cat is that he is chronically stuck in the upwards position of I must say safe take in order to make clout. He'll never leave it. He will always be there. Because to change his outlook and his mindset, that would allow for him to understand why you don't want the things that have happened in VTubing, would mean that he'd have to walk back every other take that he's made. And it does not appear to me that he's willing to do that. Where's the other information? Okay. Mm-hmm. This is a bit stupid, but I can go over this a bit. The female Black Hawk helicopter pilot, Captain Rebecca Lobach, was not named until today. Was it so they could scrub her social media? Her Facebook page has been wiped. However, her Google Plus image is shown below. It turns out that Lobach was a lesbian DEI pilot. If it turns out that Lobach was a lesbian DEI pilot, I won't be surprised. You know how the woke left blamed every social ill on racism, whether there was any evidence support or not? That's what this is. Well, I don't care about her identity, her gender, or her sexuality. I do care why she was flying like she was impaired with drink or some other unexpected element. Otherwise, she was not prepared or able for that complex of a flight, so I'd like to know why. There were 3 pilots on board. You have who was in control, or you don't know who was in control or who, if anyone, fucked up. And it would be 2 people who fucked up. Both pilots can control the aircraft and have eyes. I saw the black box was found, so I'm assuming we'll get some answers from the investigators soon. I do not think that the way that the public is currently going over this is anything close to a healthy outlook with how a person should be describing any of the shit that they're currently involved in, especially with how they're talking. Okay. Put that up there. Bring myself back. As I was saying, I do not think that the way the American public is currently talking about this is anything close to what should really be the focus of the conversation. Because it feels like we are so permanently fucking cucked on being able to talk about things that we are stuck once again on the wrong fucking thing. This air traffic crash was fucking tragic. And the fact that there are people that are going towards, well, the crash must have happened because she's a lesbian, we're beyond cooked. If that's what we take away from this, we are beyond fucking cooked. Way beyond being fucking cooked. Ugh. The Reapers. Now the production is like to have a standing military. Now it's just a matter of protecting it. I need to make actual battleships. Okay. Piro. Torn on the timeline. More torn on the timeline. I see the goal posting continues. Now get Darkest Dungeon 2 for 50% off. Joy. Ouch. Hassan on the silly drama.
What the fuck are you saying, dude? There are children being mutilated every day with American tax dollars.
Eye roll. He's doing the genocide bit to try and save himself from having to watch the clip and engage with the debate happening at him.
For 15 months, 16 months. And at the end of that extended crash out, as you've become mentally unwell, you put together the shittiest video of all time. If you truly are invested in the truth, and I'm sure there are some people, there are others who are just going to come in here and be like, well, I'm going to keep it real, man. You're just like avoiding accountability. Yeah, dude, I am pro-Palestine. That's it. I'm pro-Palestine. Okay. If that's fucking news to you, you are the dumbest baby on the planet. All right. I am pro-Palestine. I am anti-genocide. I am someone who is a leftist. Okay. I'm a leftist. I do not think capitalism is the final evolution of mankind. I think we can evolve beyond it. There are literally Guantanamo Bay internment prison facilities being set up right now. And if your number one thing is your favorite fucking 50-year-old content creator with 3 children and his endeavors for the past 6 months, you are a deeply unserious person. Anyone outside of your marginal fucking cult that you have whittled away over and over again is going to look at the situation and go, yeah, you know what, dude, you are actually right. You've totally convinced me that baby murder, unlimited baby murder, is all right now, actually. That like people who call that sort of behavior out are all seemingly radical Islamist extremist terrorists who I will assume are being funded by Qatar or Iran or Saudi Arabia or whatever other fucking Arab nation, because I don't have any understanding of geopolitics anyway.
Despite the man who could not find the countries that he's talking about on the map, it took him multiple tries to get across and refuses to continue to watch the clip or watch the video in question that criticizes him, where his own followers immediately defend him, his own friends, his own co-streamers defending him. Great defense, son. Wrap it up.
And they're all the same to me. Go spend time with your fucking kids, man. Holy shit. You look crazy. You look like you're fucking literally losing your mind. And virtually everyone can see it. Do you not have any friends? Listen to your producers.
Literally the Hassan method. To a T. The literal Hassan method. Hide, alter, strawman, avoid, and name call. If there's a debate, God, please, let fucking Ethan clutch this debate. If there is a debate, it needs to be done live on camera, where he just goes through it and he just makes him address every single take. Just make him address every single fucking take. Because there should never be a viewpoint where he's able to go live on any channel and respond that way without him immediately being forced to answer for the shit that he's saying. Because he's just doing the exact same shit he's always done. He's saying lol, basic effort, lol, basic consequences. He has no take past this. None. He's got no take past it. He's not willing to discuss it. He's just scared of getting pushed back. He's scared of losing his audience. She's too loud. I'm out. I lost my train of thought because she was too damn loud. But there should never be a place where Hassan's able to go live like this when so many people have been able to see the fact that he's just not addressing any of the things that are being said and done for him. You just can't. It's impossible. And I'm close to achieving a conquest victory. I can't believe this is real. Oh my god. I can't believe this is a real tweet. This Black History Month, we're celebrating the contributions and the culture of the Black community within Halo Studios and beyond. We're committed to fostering an environment where everyone feels valued and supported. Let's build a future where opportunity thrives for all. They made fucking A-Trace skins. They made fucking A-Train skins. Alright, send this to Jay. 1 second. What can I say except what the fuck? Black History Month should not start off with companies immediately bending over to try and suck my dick, man. That's so embarrassing. Hmm. Okay, decent. Plus unfertile. Running. What was the most production? Nice. Sable. Probably build them here. Okay. What is this? Bro definitely has to use the date for this. Maddie, guess where this photo is taken? Is this the 6th inning of the June 18th Orioles versus Yankees game? Jeez, how'd you do that? I want to work through the process. Based on I come 2 base, and as I could tell that it's always included at the Yankee Stadium. Only 6 games were played at Yankee Stadium between the 2 of them. One series in September and the other in June. Based on what people are wearing, September would be too cold. We're down to 3 games. There are too many people in the stands. This is not to be a close game, so it knocks off the last game of the series where the Yankees got destroyed when Gill came up 7 and 1.1. Now, me being a nerd on catchers, I noticed Mets legend Shane McCann standing behind home plate. And surely enough, James Cann caught game 1 of the series, and Adley had game 2. Since it's pitch black out, it's later into the game, the pitcher looks a little bit Dylan. It looks like Dylan Tate started warming in the bottom of the 6th, so there you have it. Interesting. Fun post, I guess. Well, it's a clip that I'm not going to put on camera. Does anybody have the full Bullblacks right post? Ethan was sent by Bullblacks after the segment. Nope. Explore and brainstorm new video ideas. That is a waste of time. Mm-hmm. Reviews. Yet another fucking post of people trying to use the X-Men as a justification, stand-in for their hatred of things and other people. Every single fucking time I come across these posts, it's always so fucking annoying to see them. The X-Men used to protect the world that hated and feared them. Now, in every way, they justify the world hating and fearing them, and they make eradication the responsible thing for people to fucking communicate for. Meanwhile, you should actually read and consume all of the content you try to glaze, because Charles was right. The entire panel itself is basically a detailed reading of a conversation between a person who's trying to shoot Cyclops and him explaining the concept of mutually assured destruction. They leave out the other side of the panel, where effectively it is Cyclops explaining that this is a gambit meant to protect people, not to antagonize them. Because while I've been ready to die for the mutant cause since I was 14 and have done so several times, here's the long and short of it. If any of you have me murdered, then my wife will know and she will grieve, and then the Phoenix will return to the Earth for vengeance, and I don't know if the planet will survive that. So yes, I will destroy every threat to this institution, blah 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 blah. And the part that it then has circled is because I am looking out for you, for all of you. Effectively, this is my fear with the X-Men and why it's not going to go well over in the fucking MCU when they eventually choose to migrate that shit back into existence, and ultimately it makes everything impossible to communicate how effective these characters need to be when trying to see them be done in any serious way or format. We cannot, and it is impossible, for them or anyone else to be able to really get across how these characters are meant to be written and understood. It is so fucking irritating to watch stupid people talk about things that they don't understand and then say that they get it better than you would, or any of us would. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go see if I'm going to go make pastas for myself. I'll be back in a few minutes. I have muted myself in my room so none of you can say slurs while I'm leaving. Beep, 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 beep. I return. Why do they want the X-Men to become the Brotherhood so bad? Because they don't get the character. Also, welcome, Struggler. Creating how much people want to kill others for being ignorant when actually creating better arguments. Solve the problem without bloodshed. And also, mutants are a horrible adaptation of the issue because there are legit reasons to fear them. A guy could become a bomb in a second, or far worse, even Xavier had to pop him out of existence. That's actually ironic, because in the panel that I'm talking about here, that is actually on the exact same panel that features that exact point. Quote, how much damage would the Juggernaut do if dropped from orbit? Or Zorn if he just took his helmet off and exposed the star that makes up his head? I don't get why people say this with utmost confidence and then act as though maybe you should read the book, is the reaction most people have. Welcome back, Horror. Welcome back, Horror. I had to go to the kitchen.
That's where I was.
Okay. So where you belong? No, I'm not gonna say that. Not even I belong in a kitchen, despite the fact it's probably my best talent.
I'm alright at it. There's certain things that I do really well, and there's certain things that I cannot do for the life of me.
Like that? Like what?
I am not good with grilling at all. I can bake a good steak. Like, I can bake a steak really well. I can bake salmon, I can do all that shit, but if you were to try to sit me on a grill or a stovetop and try to do that,
The interests of other.
And I'm not good with pie, either. I can make a mean cheesecake, though.
There are several jokes in here, but for the sake of my friendship, I'm not going to be that crass at this current moment.
I'll give a shit.
I didn't say I wouldn't make them. I just said at this current moment. Is it a matter of not having had the experience doing it?
Mostly. It's mostly something that hubby does when we want to grill. He can do that. And he's the pie guy anyways, so...
Well, of course he's the...
I like cake. He likes pie.
Lord knows you like cake. One of these days, I'm gonna sit down and set aside money to send you a Fansly size cutout of fucking, Bailey.
BBL Bailey. BBL Bailey.
Also, when it comes to all forms of cooking, it's a skill just like any other skill.
Yeah.
Like, in my lifetime, I've acetylene welded, I've acetylene cut, I've machine pressed, I've seen machine operated, and the same functions of learning the tools around a work site are the exact same thing as learning the tools around a kitchen. You don't need to know the unique French word for what they used to call as a micro machine, which is one of those fucking 1950s multi-tools. It could slice, puree, break, fricassee, and cut several pieces of food, potato, starch-based object, or meat to specific sizes for, like, fast food creation for fucking pasta and shit. But you do need to understand things like when using a, I wouldn't say dirty grill, but using a not well seasoned cast iron skillet, throw in onions, throw in any type of liquid substance, and heat the pan so that as the onions caramelize, you can both deglaze the pan and also prepare onions, or just simply begin the process of seasoning a pan. Something that they actually did try to teach my generation, 2008, 2012, inside of home economics, but of course that's seen as a girly class. Meanwhile, the actual culinary class was not actually up and running by the time that we graduated, but it has been since my departure as a member of my vocational school's alumni. And the amount of things that you can just learn in a kitchen for basic upkeep and use is the same thing you'd be learning inside of a college-based class for health and fitness when it comes to diet. Learning how to make a steak properly, learning the different ways of how to do it, whether you choose to use gas or grilled briskets or propane, the tastes. Really, all of that doesn't matter as much as it is learning how you like steak. How do you like steak?
Are you actually asking that question, or are you
Yes. How do you like
posing it
steak?
rhetorically?
How do you like steak? How do you like your steak?
I usually go medium well. It's usually what I usually do. I don't really have a preference for how it's made, because I generally like it no matter if it's baked or grilled or seared off or whatever. I'm not really picky. But I make a really fucking good oven cooked steak. I've gotten it down to a fucking science.
That's pretty
I think
much...
I think the thing that I'm like happiest that I figured out was my own chicken soup. It's not chicken noodle soup, it's chicken soup. Because instead of noodles, it's got pro couscous. It's fucking good.
It's probably the most important thing, especially when it comes to cooking in general. Assuming that there is food that you cannot eat in your diet, it's more about learning how exactly you like to cook that food, and whether you include it in your diet to begin with anyways. So even a steak, medium to medium well to medium rare, you just don't need it to be, you don't need it to be bloody middle in the pink, because there is no such thing as a well done steak. A well done steak is a hamburger.
Yeah, it's beef. It's all it is beef.
Now, assuming that a person's worried about the sanitariness of eating something that is, quote, still mooing, your steak shouldn't necessarily be overly bloody. You can have a little bit or a little bit more pink in the middle, but you need to make sure that when you actually chew into it and you bite it and you consume it and you consistently make it this way, that you don't give yourself worms. Worms, polyps, cysts, nothing that causes you exorbitant amounts of agony when on the toilet. If you are ever going to be affected by parasites, this is probably where most people are terrified about eating things like steak. And honestly, most people can't afford to do so because steaks are extremely fucking expensive from the wholesalers.
Yeah.
Some of the grocers down here in the south, they sometimes will occasionally go around house to house just like door-to-door salesmen, and they'll actually try to sell you the product directly from the manufacturer without the middlemen of the supermarkets. If you can afford it, if you work on a factory floor and you pull in about, I'd say $1,000 a week, you could actually be able to stockpile this food and be safe. Because getting a stockpile freezer is not that hard. Getting on your property, I guess that's a different question entirely, but a deep freeze alongside a main refrigerator, or like what we have right now, a outside refrigerator that's inside the garage, and an inside refrigerator to stockpile any excess that does not immediately get used in the house is probably the best way to treat and also cook steaks. Because I think steaks are a selective thing. It depends on the cut that we're talking about. If we're talking T-bones and ribeyes, you do not need to be eating a T-bone and ribeye every single fucking day.
No, it's usually New York strips. But completely diverting, I gotta call out Struggle Bus a little bit. Okay. Homie, I know you're upset about the Devil May Cry theme, intro, whatever, but you need to calm your tits a little bit. You're getting so incensed about it that you're completely overblowing your argument and can't realize that somebody was referring to Devils Never Cry instead of Devil May Cry in an argument. Homie, my dude, you need to calm down.
I saw that too.
Yeah. Because he was asking if you'd seen it. I'm like, yeah, you've seen it, but you weren't as incensed as Struggler was. Struggler was just like blindingly livid. I'm like, I get you, but you can't go full retard. You can't go full retard.
On the question of the Devil May Cry remake, just throw the whole fucking thing away. It's all wrong.
Yeah.
It's all fucking wrong. He wants to touch Berserk, and this is what he did to Devil May Cry. First off, Limp Bizkit?
That was weird. I get, because Dante tends to be a more, like, light-hearted character in comparison to, say, Virgil. But no. Why?
He can't touch Virgil. From what I saw there on that screen, he cannot touch Virgil.
Please don't. Please don't touch my baby boy.
He already fucked up the
design. I put Virgil in the same category as Alucard. Like, don't touch my baby boy.
He already... Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just at least happy that they... Some people can disagree with me, but I think they did him at least justice in Season 2.
Yeah. From the clips that I've seen, because I have yet to dig into it, I was supposed to do that earlier today with you, but unfortunately, something changed in my schedule that took me away from that. I'm about to go back to the kitchen because I believe the onions should be ready to be turned. But, Devil May Cry. The music, dog shit. Like, Devils Never Cry and Bury the Light were right there. Any of the music from DMC 4, DMC 5, DMC 3 was right fucking there. This is supposed to be an origin series, and we're really in the future where you're comparing this now, your product, versus the actual Devil May Cry anime. You're getting swept by the old Devil May Cry anime. That's the first problem. I know that Eddie Shankar hadn't watched it, because he wouldn't have gone this method if that was the case. In a post-DMC 5 universe, there is no world where you're getting involved in this product and doing what you're doing if you were not currently going about how you're doing it. Because in that opening shot, I saw the Red Queen, I saw versions of Kalina An, I saw both versions of Rebellion, and I also saw the flicker of Yamato. So, if the only characters that you have here are fucking Morrison and Mary/Lady and Dante, I beg her to believe what the fuck you're going off of, because I also saw flashes of what I can only assume was Nella Angelo. I saw references to Mundus. I saw references to Temenigru. I saw references to the perfect amulet that creates Force Edge and awakens Devil Sword Spada, which eventually should just be Devil Swords. Like Dante, I don't know where this is going to take place in the timeline.
I feel like this is going to be put in the same tier as the Devil May Cry remake.
Oh,
the
God,
edgy emo phase.
That's
Devil May Cry remake.
That's outright fucking garbage to begin with, anyways. Especially since this would be foreshadowed by him having the reboot necklace instead of the original perfect necklace.
Yep.
All that shit aside, the music choice is fucking garbage.
Gay.
Then it's going to be the most normie shit adjacent possible, because there is an easy plot to build Devil May Cry off of, and I don't think that he can accomplish it, because to do so is to make character writing. Lord knows they had to spin the wheel really hard to turn in a good first installment of Castlevania. And Nocturne was already shit out of the gate, because the way that they wanted to set up all these characters, we learned more about side characters than we did about any Belmont character. Which is the greatest sin of Season 1 of Nocturne. Season 2 of Nocturne should be capable of turning it in, because now we get more filler. Because I guess Alucard's going to be the bridge between connecting everybody else to care about these characters. Which, man, congratulations. You could have done that from the beginning if you just were not fucking around the way you guys chose to write this goddamn series. Sure.
I came out of it hating Mary more and not minding Annette so much.
Mm-hmm.
Which says something.
It wouldn't have been so fucking annoying if they had just spent more time with the Belmonts first, and then filling in for the backstory of these characters. Because all of this comes off the back of them wanting to make what they claimed when they were at the, heyday, where Castlevania was insisting upon itself, that it was meant to be a Game of Thrones killer. Both in the time when Game of Thrones was still relevant. They also insisted upon themselves. And just like that, they also brought themselves down with really piss-poor tier writing. Which, that just segues directly into the great political diatribe coming out of Vought Industries and coming out of Amazon. Yes, guys.
Go get your food, though. Get your food. You don't want to burn.
Hold it down for a second. I'll be right back. Fuck. Okay, continuing my thought from where I left off. The same problems that I'm going to have with Devil May Cry as I had with Castlevania Installment 1 and Installment 2, and that I will continue to have with the boys, especially with what they've chosen and what specifically Kripke has decided to turn it into. How are they getting gapped by even the lamest and cringiest of online left-wing brain rot political artists? And I'm not sure if you've seen what I'm talking about. I can send you
Probably
the
not.
link to it. But that whole use of the firecracker character and tagging her alongside that diatribe, I'm pretty sure I put a link to it inside of here in political discussion. No, I put it inside of body politic, I bet. Yes, I did. This, where from the Vought International parody account, where they keep making these nonsensical responses, where from Vought Fresh Farms, a dozen of eggs is now $19.99. The freshest,
I saw
whitest
that.
shells. If I was one of these actors that got involved with this show, where they keep making these political commentary shit posts, because that's what they are. They are shit posts. There are three ways to analyze these. The first one is, literally, he was at the fucking inauguration. All I have to do is Google egg prices, and you're BTFO'd. Out of the way to begin with. Because I believe it was last week that you saw the political cartoonists making jokes about this, where the eggs price is too big, and then after Trump is elected and the egg prices have increased, suddenly the egg prices are based on the prices of the tariffs that are being indoctrinated on the places where we had all the eggs coming from. Clearly means that the egg prices would go up instead of down. We clearly elected him, and there's an entire process. But I'm a very smart person. Something to alongside the lines of that. I didn't tag down the post when I originally saw it because I usually do not give breath to that shit to my head. But this shit annoys the piss out of me because it's emblematic of the same shit that's going to happen inside of the writing of any show that comes through from Adi Shankar, as he clearly showed that that was what was going to be the case with Castlevania. I can ignore the characters not having the voices welcome. I can ignore the characters not having the correct voices and the correct accents. I can ignore the characters choosing to have commonplace current day sayings where they overuse expletives like fuck. I can be able to even ignore the cringy use of revolutionary speak with BLM talking points and getting basic shit about religions and the occult wrong in a series where God clearly exists and all the bullshit writing tropes you use to have epic big chungus Reddit memes amongst your viewer base and your fucking your writer staff. I watched The Witcher. I know what Netflix writers are capable of. I know what people like Rowan Hesrick are supposed to be down for. But this was Adi Shankar's writing point. He wanted to be a fan, effectively doing what Team 4 Star thought that they were trying to argue for the industry. Something made by fans, for fans. And the fans are tourists that don't get the medium.
Yep.
Yes.
The showrunners,
Struggle bus.
the showrunners, or at least the showrunner that was responsible for installment 1 with Warren Ellis, at least understands how to write conflicting character narratives. Leading this energy into Nocturne, these women do not know how to write character elements. Because the first thing that I noticed, the first thing that I caught wind of with Season 2, what the fuck did they do? They brought back the fucking bitch. Dralter should have stayed dead. But no, you brought her back as a night creature. She's a personal favorite pet of these fucking writers.
And they tried to give her a backstory too. I didn't mind it. I didn't mind it, honestly. But the ending kinda...
If we're gonna give characters backstories, I should not be learning about the motivations of one of the main faction villains and her general/dragon in the second fucking season.
Right.
Even with Hector and even with Isaac and his "but master, I love you" shit, we learned about it within the first few seasons and the first few episodes of said season. We had all the pieces in place that then led up to Praying Tears' bloody hands. We didn't have to do any of this bullshit. We just play the goddamn Castlevania music and let massacres happen. Because this is effectively how they did the plot lines of Game of Thrones. You need to understand the characters and their arcs and their personalities and where they're going. Thing happens. This political event shifts the actions and the adventures, the lives, and as they're known as, the fates of the characters. And then the characters are where they're supposed to be in order for things to happen and to manipulate further down the plot. If it were a fucking JRPG, this would be like learning about the character actions in real time while looking through it through the tool-assisted lore systems that are added into every game that has a JRPG function. And ironically, is the exact reason why that was a feature that was touted so much in Final Fantasy XVI. Because keeping up with story bits like this is really hard. You're supposed to be paying attention. And, you can't expect people to look at this like they're playing an unironic video game. So, watching these lore bits and figuring out where the players are, who their personalities are, how their attitudes work, it's exactly what you expect of dramatic television. How this relates over to The Boys is even more politically poignant, because I shouldn't be learning about contemporary politics outside the universe of the show, making fun of current politics that are contemporary in our current political zeitgeist. I'm not watching The Boys to go learn about the political fucking diatribe of the field that is happening in the 2024 election. It shouldn't matter, because this is fiction, not fiction based on reality. When it becomes fiction based on reality, and I now need to have a poli-science degree in order to keep up with the intrinsically high-brow jokes of your show, you've already fucking lost the audience. Flat out. Going past losing that audience, for all the people that can understand your jokes then land hollow and solid. They land and break like an egg with no container. Just air. Just air, because that's the only thing that's inside of it. There's no substance. There's no material. It's just the image of content. So it's a wet, hollow thud that's just empty inside, with nothing to show for it. Where did we start from with Season 1 of The Boys? Supposed to be, in this universe, things are treated seriously and real. Characters have abilities that can lead to consequences for other people. A speedster speed blitzes by accident because he's high on drugs a woman, and she gets splayed out on the fucking street corner. This leads a normal man with no abilities to end up being recruited by a guy who wants to attack an industry because his wife used to be a part of that engine. And he has not found higher hair of her since she disappeared. Turns out, she got raped by one of the head fucking employees, which are the superheroes, that are test tube babies, himself being a specific test tube baby, but all of them being experiments that were tried and tested to see if they could make superheroes using a chemical compound that makes Vought not just a superhero talent agency, but also a pharmaceutical company that has wartime applications, capable of making people around the world not only inhabit superhero abilities, but also become the representatives of them, which then becomes a waylay stand-in for contemporary politics. How would you feel if the Secretary of Defense was somebody that with the snap of their fingers could blow up your country? But instead of that, they're doing the effective comparison of fucking beauty pageants. There's a lot of writing here that would have led it into the X-Men, but what direction did they go? They decided to go the direction of doing our own thing. So instead of making this the story that came from the comic books, where you now have multiple superhero teams like Payback and I'm forgetting the name of the other fucking team. It was Payback, the Seven, and another one that I can't remember the name of. Instead of having characters,
I'm pretty sure there was also I'm pretty sure there was. I'm pretty sure there was also like a X-Men sort of team as well as a Teen Titans team.
The G-Men. I
Yeah.
think it's the G-Men. With all these different shoutouts to all these different concepts, superheroes, but played extremely straight and with all the dramatic tension of what if a man was driven insane by a person because he didn't know that a member of his team was literally a clone that was designed to push him to becoming a totalitarian dictator. Instead of going that direction, we decided to go to the direction of, hey, what if we decided to do contemporary politics and just antagonize the people who watch our show because they want to watch a medium that was made by a guy who's supposed to be known for making really good stuff. We already did it once on AMC with Preacher, and what did that show turn out to be? A fucking wet turd fart. Because we took all the edge and we grinded it down. So we take all the edge here, and not only are we going to grind it down, we're going to actively antagonize them on a daily basis. You're so stupid you don't get the political diatribe we're doing. But when you do get it, it's literally, we hate Republicans, we hate Republicans, we hate Republicans, we hate Republicans. considering that DM D lowercase MC was basically that as well.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to Adi Shankar doing anything further, and I'm certainly hoping that he does not get his hands on the Berserk rights.
I hope not.
The last thing I need is to look at Griffith when he chooses to induct the Sabbath and elevate himself to say that the reason why he's betraying Guts is because black women belong to the WBC. I don't want to see that on screen. I don't want to see epic Reddit Chungus memes about how Griffith is white because a bunch of people like that. It pisses off people that don't have the correct politics to enjoy the intelligence of the show. Because it's the same diarrhea diatribe that came out of Rick and Morty. You're not smart enough to get the joke, and it's just the hatred of Dan Harmon and Justin Roiman poisoning the irony goblins that repost everything they do, and then spurging out about memes that they create in the show, like Szechuan sauce. There should be a below zero chance that a person will basically drop on their back, pull their t-shirt over their head like they're Cornholio, and throw a fucking autistic fit over anything in these shows. I don't want to see that in my fucking entertainment medium.
I was just thinking about that particular one.
That shit is... Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it. But at least they did my baby Alucard all right. And I'm happy with that. That's all I care about. Huh?
What's that season in which he's like... What season was it when he was like hallucinating in the castle with those other two vampires?
3?
That was season 3. Yes.
It wasn't vampires, it was twins that were vampire hunters.
Yes.
There it was.
And I think it was, though that was a very hard season, I think because he was very innocent, he's basically like maybe a teenager mentally. And now he's getting the cruel, harsh, this is how the world is sort of experience.
I get it. Also, I kind of came out to like defend myself real quick. Yeah, I lost my temper. I really, really blew myself out of proportion.
I was like, homie, I'm not gonna blow you up on Twitter and give these guys ammo, but I was like, damn, dude, you need to.
Fine. It's outside of Legacy of Kain and Berserk. This is my thing.
Yeah.
And it hurts me when somebody doesn't understand the assignment.
No. Yeah, I get you. It's not fun. That's how pissed I was. That's how pissed I was with season 1 of Nocturne. I was like, what the fuck is this? And you guys found out like firsthand by watching it yourselves why I was so pissed when that stuff came about. And why I ranted for like 10 minutes straight.
Did you watch season 2 yet?
I've watched the whole thing. I thought it was way better than season 1.
That part of Maria, though.
Yeah.
Not
I came out of it liking Annette more than I liked Maria.
It's like, how do you mess up Maria, who is supposed to be like this happy-go-lucky sort of bubbly person, and you turn her into the fucking... Not everyone should be Guts or the Punisher. No. Is that so hard not to do in this day and age? Yeah. Like, not everyone should be like that.
Bloodthirsty and cruel.
Yes.
Yeah, I was not... I was not happy with what they did with her, but...
I'm still gonna watch this.
I'm still trying to figure out what they were going for with the gay boys at the end.
I have no clue.
I was like, is he killing Olrox? Or is he just gonna hate fuck him? I don't... It's like head tilt.
It's weird.
Or is he just, because he's a newborn vampire, he doesn't have control of his faculties yet? I don't know. I couldn't figure out what they were going for there.
I mean, you probably get away with that, but
And it's probably also that he's pissed because he didn't have a choice.
True.
Which makes sense. I would probably want to kill him too if he forced me into a life of damnation. By what I see as damnation from my entire life's devotion to God. I would be livid.
Mm-hmm.
But
Man, I'm still gonna watch this fucking show. Mostly because I want to fucking tear it apart.
I couldn't tear it apart as much as I thought I would. They came out of the gate hard though. With Alucard and the Egyptian temple. Come on, that was cool.
Yeah. I mean, I will give it to the animation department. Yeah, you're cooking here.
That was
you're
good.
Working with what you got, but man, that does not cover for bad writing.
It wasn't as bad as season 1. It was bad, but it was leagues better than season 1.
I agree.
And the visuals for Richter when he goes beast mode, fuck. I'm like, okay, I see you here. I see you. And I'm sorry, I would have fucked Elizabeth Bathory when she was human. I would have fucked the shit out of that cranky bitch. I was at work and I was like, God damn. She's kind of fine though. Why do you have to make her McCavity? Why? And I cannot tell you how much I laughed my ass off when Annette became a fucking magical girl. I laughed. So I even sent a message to Carl. I was like, oh my god, Annette's a fucking magical girl. That shit, hilarious. Hysterical.
Okay. But back to the matter at hand. Like, I don't like that opening. I don't like the field in which we're going with here. I don't like the fact that he has that stupid reboot pendant as opposed to his actual.
Yeah.
It's red flags all over the fucking place.
Mm-hmm. And they made Lady look like a man.
He's not even calling himself Tony Redgrave, which is supposed to be his code name before he gets Ebony and Ivory. If you actually read the books.
Yeah.
That would.
I don't think I went that far. I don't know anything about the books. I've played the games, I've seen the anime, and that's about it.
I've read the books. They're semi-canon, but still, because there is like a moment in which Virgil does appear, but he's like under a different code name, even though he's really terrible at code names.
I went boing when I played Devil May Cry 5 and Virgil came back. I was like, yeah, daddy. Happiest camper.
Gonna destroy another city for us, maybe.
Yes. Yes. I will burn everything down for that man's. I've been that way since I was a Hot Topic thought 15-year-old.
Look, I love the man's character, but Jesus Christ. Lock the motherfucker up, please.
No, well, if you're gonna lock him up, lock him in my bedroom, because then we'll be fine.
Fucking hell.
Give me him and Trish, and we're not Devil May Cry 5 Trish, because she was uggers.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with the face models for that one.
Yeah, both her and Lady were uggers. Uggers 5000.
They didn't pick very good face models.
Not at all. Give me Devil May Cry 3 Trish, and I'll. Or is it 3 or was she in 1?
1.
She popped up in 4 at some point, didn't she?
Yes. Yeah, she is in 4.
That one. Okay, that's what I was thinking about. Give me 4. Cause I'll fucks with that.
Am I one of those weird people that greatly prefers Gloria over Trish, though?
I mean, I don't blame you, but I will always fucks with Trish.
Yeah, that's fair.
I will always fucks with that woman. I have a thing for big titty blonde haired women, okay? With blue eyes. Leave me alone.
Yeah, she has a
I have a type.
Okay, no, enough defending myself. I gotta go on a date. You guys have fun. I'll be alright.
Lock it down. Bye.
Later.
But yeah, I'm extremely disappointed by what's happening with the big epic Reddit Chungus dissemination of his choice to be considered a trustworthy custodian of these franchises that he desperately wants to get his hands on. I don't. Yes.
I hate to divert, but oh no. Look in your DMs.
Let's see.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, you've learned about the announcement, huh?
Oh no.
Yeah, I've actually already reported on this. You didn't know that they were making life-size Gordivar? Yeah.
I know Lily Orchard is gonna be a happy camper.
Yeah.
That poor doll. Ugh.
As long as they don't try to make a modified version of this, like that Sandy Cheeks real doll that somebody apparently ordered, fully furnished, then I'll be happy to have that in my brain. I just have to take the news and just say, like, yeah, that's gonna be really fun for the people who want to have a life-size doll to hug, and for nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't trust companies like Amazon or individual auteurs like Adi Shankar to be custodians of franchises and their spin-offs. They have been nothing but an unmitigated failure in every single regard. The only one that happened to be successful was Fallout, and the only reason why Fallout was successful was because of Walter Goggins and Ella Purnell. It will be the death of innovation and content creation if we allow corporations to decide that the reason why a product made money is because we had a lot of Redditors supporting it, rather than course correcting, as Paramount Pictures had to when it came to Sonic, or with the work between, was it DreamWorks and Nintendo for the Super Mario Brothers movie? Yes, Universal Pictures in cooperation with Nintendo for making those products work. I mean, for the Super Mario Brothers movie, that's another product of, hey, we needed to find something to do with Jack Black, and I guess we're just going to put him in this the same way we've been putting him in everything else. But in terms of turning in a great product and a good performance, a lot of these television shows and movies, they could do a lot worse than this, but they could do a lot better than this. I think the death knell was the original presentations of the Dungeons and Dragons films. For me, a really funny bit of this was the Dungeon Siege films. I'm not sure if you ever watched it. It was the one that was starring Jason Statham. And, what is that woman's name?
I've never seen it. I don't think I've ever even heard of it.
Lily Sorbensky? Yes, In the Name of a King, a Dungeon Siege tale. We've come a very far time from the era of the 2007 mid, I do mean mid in the mid sense, mid films, featuring actors like Ray Liotta as an evil sorcerer, and actresses like Lily Sorbensky as completely unknowable, affable character, standing in a plot where they feel so far out of place because nothing about it is based in the series that it's a part of. Now, in terms of, fantasy films that do that, Honor Among Thieves, I believe it was called. Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. That is not a Dungeon and Dragons movie. That is a D&D 5th edition movie. Just like the original Dungeons and Dragons film that featured a lot of other fucking actors was like a, I'd say, third 3.5 edition film. None of these projects are made in the mindset of being proper custodians of their franchises. Ironically, not even the original ones that were going off of book franchises did this, like Aragorn. God, those films were rough. That film was hard to watch. The books are great, the film was shit. None of them can be trusted to be custodians. And the way that they look at the problem of their desire to make social media marketing the new fetch, the more clear it becomes that there is no interest in making a better outcome for the projects, and instead they are focused on only this far and only this much will we give money. Anything that requires us to do a harder soul search as a part of a corporation to decide how we're going to do business about these products, they could give a fuck less about that. And every single time, it would be better if fans did projects than the movies do projects. Because nobody seems to like anything they're doing. Nobody likes a single thing that they fucking do. Everybody just has open contempt for the fan base and the people who take care of it. I know that it makes Jay really happy and also really sad, because it makes for really great content to just watch as a part of a guilty pleasure. And I don't disagree with her. Watching something like Interview with the Vampire is... it's a joy. More so better for me, since that recently I was actually able to profit off of that, because the Nielsen ratings actually came to my house. And when I asked a question to the service lady, she actually told me that half the reason of why I received one in the mail was because somebody had watched the content that she and I had made.
Interesting.
But I know, it was really weird. We were already a part of the original set that were supposed to be followed up on, but they sent the next follow-up to ask us for this new, for a new survey round. Specifically because when they cross-referenced the knowledge, they unofficially, I can't say this, I'm part of the service records, but I wanted to send this to your house because I saw your content with this other person. She wondered if we lived in the same state. But when it comes to shit like that, I don't expect companies like AMC or Starz or Cinemax or HBO Max or Showtime, I don't expect them to be custodians of anything. I expect them to be content creators that make content. I expect them to make shows like Nurse Jackie, and then shows like Chicago Med, Chicago Fire, and the umpteenth season of Grey's Anatomy. I expect them to do what they're told by the market is the best interest for them to get involved with. Because we're going to see people push the margins of that kind of content creation. It's not going to be Hollywood. It's going to be places like Blumhouse Films, obviously.
Yeah.
Blumhouse Films, A21, working picture titles, and up-and-coming content creators that will make shows and movies like Dormouse. These indies that come up and they have actors that are a part of these shows like Riverdale, and they're able to use these actors to a more effective standard because they're making shit they actually want. It was a joy watching Dormouse, because that was produced and directed and made off plots written by Avian Yoga himself. So seeing somebody go from being a part of the Netflix fucking IRL, or not IRL, but the Netflix sitcom engine into making his own unique shit. That's what we want. We don't get more of that because of Hollywood wanting to become this hodgepodge engine with gaming and turn out movie games where they just bring the talent directly from BAFTA directly into the games and make buku money off of creating a bullshit empire, kickstarted off the backs of people like Amy Hennig to elevate individuals like Neil Druckmann, because he sees himself an auteur like fucking, what's his name? It's on the tip of my tongue. I was literally talking about his movie earlier. I have to remind myself. Devil, 2007? No, not The Devil. It was the one with the elevator. Lady in the Water. M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan is the name I was thinking of. The reason I say that, I don't know if you have an opinion. You might have one more about horror films, which I think kind of follow this exact plot of what I'm saying. But, for most of these products, especially ones from people like M. Night Shyamalan, more since his return to form, not during the time period where he was making bomb after bomb after bomb, just for the sake of making plot twists, you cannot make films while also having no direction. It doesn't matter if the film's direction goes in the direction of Unicorn Store, or it goes in the direction of one of the upcoming films like The Monkey, which I think is going to be probably a really fun murder Rashomon. But you still need someone to put you in the direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel that television and film have been in holding just your attention for your particular favorites?
Not good. I generally don't watch TV shows anymore. And I don't watch very many movies. Purely because most of them are ass. And I'd rather not pay $15 to $20 a ticket to go see something in the theater. Nor do I have cable, or do I care to go buy the upteenth streaming service to try and watch something in particular. I just don't care.
Yes. Obviously for piracy and piracy's sake. You don't just steal, guys, but for the sake of just content consumption. If we did not have piracy, I'm pretty sure most of these shows would die on their palate. There is a serious engine where I'm pretty sure they have given up on trying to win people over the natural way, and they decided they wanted to go the way of just baiting the interaction with influencers covering their shows and then laughing at them. Because it's better to be covered and antagonized by people laughing at how stupid they think your show is than for them to really think about how they could have made a better product and landing on the position of, well, at least this way, people know that we existed. I think that's pathetic, in my own opinion. Very
pathetic.
When they choose to make these shows this way, and they then look at those shows as a weird marketing gimmick, I want to be in the room with these executives that make these choices. Because every time they make this choice, it ends up like Robin Hood. Robin Hood with a Y. The funniest bits that came out of that show was the condom cookie jar. And the voice clip that I took from that show when I watched it with Jay, which is, anybody want to eat garbage and watch trash? Because that's every video game medium now. That's every entertainment medium now. You want to eat garbage and watch trash? No? Well, you better watch this streamer who's eating the garbage, watching the trash, and reacting to it, because then you'll never have heard about it. We hear more about garbage because it's getting mocked on the timeline, and it's gone viral on the timeline, than from people who can tell us anything about the field of the business to begin with.
Yep.
I know who I blame. But in the grand scheme of the marketplace, who else should we blame other than the ones who are responsible for that level of poor marketing? I want nothing more than for them to get back to form of making good shit. But in order for them to make good shit, they actually have to know how to make things, period. And they have clearly forgotten or never learned how to, for some of these auteurs, how to make good things. Then when you look at any other franchise that is being given the same treatment, they're treating fucking Five Nights at Freddy's better than 10, 15-year-old franchises.
Yep.
Granted, you could put Sonic in that same degree, but Sonic that's a miracle story that won't be replicated.
Nope. Especially that was a story where they actually listened.
Mm-hmm. We barely prevented what would have been the most disrespectful fumble in the history of content creation and in the history of work from space on material, simply because they were willing to be told, no, that is fucking stupid. Please do this instead. If that hadn't happened, there is no telling how much more annoying that would have ended up being for all parties involved. Doesn't mean that they're out of the woodwork yet. So far, they've at least successfully been able to beat the first allegation, which is, can you really be able to capture the energy of every era of Sonic that you're making movies for?
So far, yes.
We've gotten classic Sonic, we've gotten Genesis Sonic, we've gotten modern era Sonic Adventure 2 Sonic. Now you have to deal with the eras that pretty much most people look back on either fondly or dishearteningly, which basically is Sonic CD, and then forward the modern Sonics. I shudder to think what will happen when they get to Sonic Boom, but if they actually do Sonic Boom, I'm pretty sure that Jim Carrey could carry it alone.
Yeah.
That's on whoever is writing these fucking scripts, and continue giving him the golden script to read from. I need to walk out the room really quick, but let me finish my thought. Ultimately, with the Xbox Direct that we witnessed last week. Was it last week?
2 weeks ago.
Time's blending together for me. With the productions that they're using, when it comes to respecting the franchises that make these companies possible, especially off the back of the success of Astro Boy, I don't know why they are so angry that they're being told by the consumers that pay the salary to give them the ability to make the shit that they want, that maybe giving us a good game every 1 to 2 years would give you enough breathing room to try new shit, as long as you're willing to make it just as good as the shit you give us.
Yep.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I want to actually say it. I'm just being funny. I'm being facetious. Pokemon is Pokemoning. That is all, chat. Am I in the wrong fucking place? I haven't seen a single Larvesta around here. Oh, there it is. Complain and they shall appear. Call gets back. I'm gonna go get me some ice cream. I got Neapolitan waiting for me. I needs me some tasty ice cream. Yes, yes.
Had to bring the pot to the simmer. Wow. Did you have a response to that before I had left the room?
No.
Okay. I'm just so fucking disappointed with all the fucking video games and movies that are on the marketplace. Now, some of them they're just gifts from God. So, like, Michael Jai White's series of martial arts films sold under Don't Hold Back, or is it Don't Stand Down? 1 second. I think it's Don't Back Down, actually. Never Back Down. So, I'm not sure if you know much about it.
Nope.
But Michael Jai White has made a franchise series called Never Back Down, where basically it's another one of those author vehicle engines where he just brings in personal friends that go direct to DVD, but they are pretty much full of the people who do the stunts in major Hollywood.
Mm.
So it started with Never Back Down, Never Back Down 2, The Beatdown, which was sold as the one that featured people like Gillian Murphy, Scott Epstein, Todd Dufay, Alex Mraz, Dean Geyer. Had people like Evan Peters, and other big shot call-ins for people in the scene, like MMA artists. Trying to find one of the examples. Yeah, Rampage Jackson and people like him. Quinton Ramon Jackson. Pretty much the thing that the WWE tries to do, where they do the kayfabe thing, he just made an entire like cinematic universe full of people like himself, Tony Jaa, and others. So it's like, hey, you happen to be here, and I happen to be here on vacation this weekend. It's like the Happy Madison model, but martial arts.
Huh.
He's made an entire line of these since 2005, I swear, I remember because of Super Bass. So here, 2016. And then film series, I'm incorrect, 2008. But he's been making these since 2008. He's made 4 of them. When they choose to make these franchises that they want to spin these things off of, we're treated with the energy of something like this. When they want to make a new franchise of films or a new franchise of games, and it was made because a single guy had the passion to pretty much make a B-list form of a shitpost, or a display of technical talent of the actual martial artists that then are the mocap artists for video game shit. So, like the Tekken film. I keep having to remember that Tekken had a fucking movie. Is it Tekken the Motion? No, Tekken the Motion Picture is the animated one. Where's the actual Tekken film? There we go. The 2009 Tekken film that had a bunch of people. Actually, no, this is the... Wait, is this the right one? I swear this is not the right one. It might not be. It's the one that started with drowning puppies. I'm trying to remember.
I don't know.
It was one of those films that was like from the time period of Dragon Ball Evolution, where they kept trying to make a franchise out of fighting game franchises or out of anime franchises, and they were going over poorly. The one that basically put Emi Razum and that one guy on the map, whose name I'm forgetting. If they had designed these to, instead of trying to push for these franchise push-ins where they capitalize off of the franchise by getting names talked about, the Ur Bowl model, make a movie about a video game franchise, it completely disrespects that franchise's origins, but it's such a meme that it elevates it. So like the rock version of Doom, featuring Carl Urban as the stand-in for the closest thing to the Slayer, Doom Slayer, or Doom Guy. They went for this model, and it's been an unmitigated disaster, which is what put people off the idea of doing adaptations to begin with. If you ever come across those, I beg you, do not watch the Blood Rain run. I don't know if you care about characters like Blood Rain.
I've seen them.
Okay, so you're aware of exactly how much of a cinematic abortion they are.
Yes.
Okay.
The second one more so than the first. Thanks, sci-fi.
Thanks, sci-fi. I look at those films in the same vein as the... Is it W.S. Anderson? The husband of Mila Jovovich.
I have no idea.
It's either W.S. or J.S. Anderson. Anderson, Resident Evil. Paul W.S. Anderson. So, in the vein of the Paul W.S. Anderson Resident Evil films, starting all the way back in 2002, and then leading all the way up to the final chapter in 2017, and I guess also involving Welcome to Raccoon City from 2021, the choice to go from let's poorly adapt the stories to let's just make a bullshit crack engine for which we'll have as the basis of these characters in modern media portrayals, not exactly the best push. Since most of them pretty much were just watch my wife fight hot people and be sexually attractive to me on camera as she spawns my family empire, and we bastardize more of your franchises. That engine of creativity, slightly more palatable because of how much of a meme those became, kind of like Rodriguez and his never-ending call-outs in Spy Kids. Because in terms of Rodriguez, his films were never bad, and Spy Kids, as wholesome as that franchise has been, has never been so shit to the point where it's like, alright, pack it in, this is not worth it. There's only one example that I think I can commit to memory for that, and that was From Dusk Till Dawn, the series. Definitely do not watch that. It is not worth your time. All of these franchises, and how they've gone about making things, it's slowly turned into MCU-ification, only because that was the most blatantly large exploitation of adaptations within recent memory, within the last 15 to 20 years? I guess 20 years it counts now. Only because of how successful it is, right? Video games deserve, and books also deserve, and movies also deserve a better system of adaptation to big screen adaptation as possible. As I remember things like the TV movie events for things like Speak. That was a Kirsten Stewart 2003, 2001 film based on the book of the same name. And adaptations like that is pretty much the standard that we have to aim for. The more recent example of something like that I remember off the top of my head that I actually liked, Me Before You, that one's Emilia Clarke. The Fault in Our Stars, that's Cheyenne Woodley, and that one actor whose name I can't remember. I think he then went on to go do Baby Driver. And I guess the young adult novel adaptation era, which that era's not doing so good if the best they have to show for it right now in terms of technical standards and keeping to the plot of the books is whatever the fucking Kings are doing right now on Netflix concerning Uglies. These franchises and the entire syndication of them, if they all become Reddit Epic Chungus, you might as well just throw Hollywood away and start over again. It's not all of them, but most of them are becoming Epic Reddit Chungus. Leading up to this market, to the upcoming Oscar season, I'm probably going to watch that with Jay, and I'm going to see whether or not they are going to like lead to a shakeup, because something's got to change. Like this Amelia Perez shit. I'm not sure if you saw that film or you know anything.
I've heard of it.
Yeah.
I've heard it's very bad.
Selena Gomez getting shut on because she can't fucking speak the language that she's been crying on social media about wanting to be in pain for because of the ICE raids.
Yep.
All the actors in general, female, possibly throwing a revolt fit over the transgender actress's social media posts, which I saw them and I went over them live with Jay when she went to go watch the Hassan nuke. Most or less of them were just based. Like, they were reasonable takes that was expected of a person who has criticisms of Islam. They were not belligerent, they were not hateful, they were not disrespectful to the point of calling for mass genocide, none of that. It was just, these people would want to kill me. It's what you'd expect from a person who lives a lifestyle that would lead them to being at the mercy of a group that sees women as property. I want to see what happens to Hollywood this year and whether they course correct and they change. More than likely they will not. In that case, if that happens, then that's just up in the fucking air. I don't fucking know. I want to see them change. Because, at least in my interest, as an avid consumer, watcher, and growing into my own as a fucking critic, there needs to be more work to criticize so that we understand what the line is and what the basis is. There's a world where we can have criticisms for work, and we can also still have criticisms for the people who don't take that work serious enough. It does not all need to come down to, we disrespect you because you clearly are evil Nazis that want us to be hurt and killed and whatever the fuck. Clearly there's an easier line. And on top of there being an easier fucking line, there is clearly some level of responsibility that the industry has to take for themselves because of what they choose to get involved in.
Our purpose is to kill.
There is a way.
You, though. Our purpose is to kill. Our purpose.
I'm managing things in the game. There is a way for them to manage their expectations of what they want for the industry for themselves and what they want to give to consumers moving forward as a part of the mechanisms which we accomplish those things. There is clearly a way to do it. Whether or not it happens the way that they want it to happen is entirely separate from their desire to get it done, and if they can handle it. If they can't handle it, then that's not our problem. And then we have the final answer on the solution of the issue. Outside of that, if they cannot manage that, and that is not the direction in which they take Hollywood in, I want to see nothing but the sheer burning of the industry to the ground. It is not just good for everyone's outcome, and it's not just good for the industry, as well as providing us things to watch, so that we have the breads and circuses that we need to be entertained. But if for nothing else, it will serve as the backdrop behind how we get across the important things that need to be at the center of the topics and the concerns that amount the direction and focus that concerns the Hollywood engine, especially when it comes to social media production. Because I don't know about you, but I cannot fucking take this shit any goddamn longer. And by this is I cannot take being forced to be in an engine where I'm expected to give an opinion about a video game with people that want nothing but me to be suffering and tortured, while also expecting myself to kiss the ass of a company that refuses to listen to the questions and the answers that would solve that problem because they are at the mercy of another fucking company and another fucking country and how they view their investment on that cycle. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's for money, whether it's for personal interest, whether it's for a common focused goal on how we treat that outlook, we can do better than this garbage that they keep giving us. They can make better horror films. They can make better video games. They can make better fucking products for the company. They can make better corporations that have a better process of auto incorporation. They do not need to put us at the mercy of a big brother state that won't even let you have conversations about the garbage shows that they put out, and then expect you to drip feed yourself watching, as though it's the most important thing that you've had since sliced bread. I've been streaming for 2 hours already. which is pretty much what I thought I was going to do.
Yep.
But, yeah. Ow. Ow, my hand. Oh, I should have done that. Oh, that hurt.
What'd you do?
I flexed my hand in a way that I shouldn't have. And now I'm having trouble closing it.
Great.
But yeah, I at least for myself want to be able to enjoy content again.
Yeah.
I'm probably one of the worst people that should ever say there's too much hatred on the internet, but there's unironically too much hatred on the internet.
Yeah. That's part of why sometimes I just kind of, when I see you guys rag on some things, I'm like, I don't know what you want. Like, there's not going to be a perfect show. There's not going to be a perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, some of the criticism is warranted, but some of it I'm just like, really?
Mm-hmm. It was like I was telling you in my DMs the other day. Like, I cannot interact with insults. I can't criticize and spin on a guinea pig wheel about just, this is dumb. I can't have a conversation or even springboard off of something that is clearly not happening in front of people. And then you cannot then platform that and then be surprised that the feedback that you get from the thing that you're criticizing is error not valid, input not recognized. Because you can't just bitch and bitch and bitch and bitch with no constructive direction in which to do it. Because it's conversation, right? It's like if you go to your boss about getting a raise. You can't walk into the office and say, I demand a raise. If you don't give me a raise, then I'm going to quit. It can never be that simple. If the conversation starts off instead from the basis of, I've been here for X amount of years. You see that I am loyal to at least the company. In this case, it'd be the brands. But I have brand loyalty. I've put my time and money and dedication. You can clearly see I'm not a tourist. I have skin in the game. Is it possible that we can meet halfway and get things that you want and get things that I want and establish a better foundation from which to understand each other? The conversation never opens this way. For the most part, I know that's because there's coal posters. That's why I'm so annoyed by them, and that's why I hate them with burning passion. Now, of course, I'm not to the level of crashing out over basic intimate details, but I could crash out about it. And have, frequently. Because when you have people who are so dedicated to being so fervently wrong and loud, it shuts the door permanently on solving the problem, right?
Yep.
So, like, if we were in the alternate timeline where Paramount says no, Ugly Sonic is the way to go, that franchise doesn't exist anymore.
Nope.
I mean, for far beyond the insults and the jokes that they stuck into that Chippendales Rescue Ranger movie, where they basically shed on most of the concepts of, like, most of the internet and animation scene drama of the past 10 to 15 years. Plus or minus the character actors that they were making fun of with their depictions.
Oh, Struggle Bus is back.
Welcome back, Struggle Bus.
I just had a split second.
Okay.
I just wanted to say that horror is not about finding something that is perfect. It's about finding something that is competent enough in its execution. It's like I just want some decent writing, some good characters, and some good visuals. It's not that hard.
Yeah, okay, but there are some instances where I'm just like, I don't understand what the issue is here.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems like nitpicking. Like, for example, Carl was telling me that somebody, I don't remember who it was going absolutely apeshit over Sonic 3 like it was the worst thing on the planet.
Smokes.
What do you mean? That was a very good movie.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I really enjoyed that movie.
That's an example of what I'm like, it's at some point the criticism is just criticism for the sake of criticism.
Yes. I remember what he was complaining about. He was basically angry that they didn't remake the entirety of every plot point beat of Sonic Adventure 2. Which, why the fuck would they? They don't need to remake every single plot point beat. They can't. It's obviously a film, and it's obviously a film that's not going to get split into a part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Also, I think it captures the spirit of Sonic Adventure 2 pretty well. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at what it did.
Exactly. It's just a matter of, like, I get it, you want competency, but then there's, like, I see it a lot, especially on Twitter, of people hating on stuff just to hate on it. Like, I was told that I was way too critical of Chainmail Chasers Season 2, which is an analog horror series. Basically about the dog.exe creepypasta infecting this young girl's computer and starting to be like, I'm taking over the world kind of thing, which was interesting in the first season because it started from new YouTube channel. We're looking into creepypastas and the origins of these creepypastas. We've come across this website that's really weird, and there's these weird glitchy things happening, and this text file or this image that I have is talking to me, and the visuals are so fucking cool. And then the second season, it's like an hour of random talking about nothing. It starts out really strong about, okay, well, this part of it is set when everything shut down during the coronavirus pandemic. And then it was just people playing Portal or people playing Doom and talking about nothing and going back and forth about, oh, well, we should bring the channel back. No, we shouldn't bring the channel back. Yes, we should bring the channel back. Why? Why won't you? This is why we shouldn't. And I understand where it was coming from of they're trying to lay groundwork for the next season. But when you're just having like, it was literally the Castlevania Nocturne of season 1 effect, where you had all of this benign bullshit that meant absolutely nothing, that could have been condensed or written in a better way. And then the end of it, there was like the last minute or two is, oh my god, here's what I was looking for, where Big Bad shows up again, and there's progression in, okay, well, I'm really gonna start taking over shit. You have no choice.
That sounds like a pacing issue.
It is a pacing issue. It was really bad. And people said I was told that I have the attention span of a stillborn goldfish, because I kept skipping through it to try and find anything that was of substance that added to the storyline besides two dudes talking back and forth, or a girl absolutely losing her shit and saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again for 6 minutes straight. Or one of these two dudes on camera not really talking about anything, stimming like crazy. And I'm like, I get that you're trying to convey that these people are going crazy, but you are doing it in a horrible way. I understand what you're going for, but you're doing it very poorly, and it's made me disappointed to the point where I'm not going to touch your series ever again.
Mm-hmm.
There's criticism where was valid criticism, and then there's criticism for the sake of just being a hater.
Mm-hmm. Coal posting.
I understand.
Yeah, coal posting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, there's no reason for that to be so extensive. Like, some things you just gotta kind of let go of some logic to just enjoy. Where it's not necessarily throwing politics or anything like that at you from the real world. It just shut your brain off for like 2 seconds and enjoy something. Yeah, that's just where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't mind enjoying things.
Yeah.
It's just that don't insult my intelligence while we're doing this. It's like I can't exactly turn off my brain when it comes to like watching stuff, because that's just not how I work. But I can at least sit here and be like, yeah, it wasn't perfect, but it got the spirit of it. It got the feeling of it. Which is how I feel about the Sonic trilogy. It's like, yeah, it's not perfect, but it feels like Sonic, tastes like Sonic. We can work with it.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying is that we gotta stop being so doomer pilled, because the doomer pill is gonna make it so that anything that is halfway decent that comes out isn't going to be enjoyed or seen as good as it is, because you're so doomer pilled.
Mm-hmm. Got it. All right. Yep. Gotta go again. Later.
Bye.
Yeah.
Go fuck your girl.
I thought he said it was a date.
I know. You did say it was a date. You don't think dates can end with poontang?
Yes, I do.
Okay then.
Anyways, I'm going to end the stream, but I'm going to stay in the call if you want to keep talking, because I cannot keep going back and forth between the kitchen.
Yeah.
I've gotten to the point of the cooking where I now need to be in there, because the meat needs to not burn. I'll see you all later, chat.